Hey, Dan here, and this video is for you if you are a future-oriented person. If you're into Myers-Briggs, that could mean that you're an ENFP, for instance. If you've ever done the Strength Finder test, it means you have futuristic as one of your strengths. And if you watch my video on human needs psychology, which I'll try to remember to link to here, it would probably be if one of your core driving needs is for variety or for change, then you might find that you're very future oriented. So this is a really positive thing for those of us who are wired this way, right? We don't dwell on the past too much. We look to the future. We look at new things we can do, how we can innovate or improve things, or just like what that next trip will be, right? And it doesn't mean that we don't also enjoy the present, but it does mean we do tend to be wired for the future, right? Looking forward to that next thing. And as I say that now, I realize there can be many downsides to that, aside from what I'm going to talk about now, but we're just going to focus on one, and that is we tend to neglect the past, at least to some extent. I find for myself, and maybe I should just talk about more my own experience here, I'm not huge for like looking back on old photos. I tend to look forward. Like I would much rather spend an afternoon planning a trip than looking back on a trip I've already taken. I tend to be wired that way, right? I want to always be moving forward, looking at the future. The problem with that is, and it's the same problem with having a strong need for variety or for change, is that it can cause some stress and it can lead to a lack of certainty sometimes, where if we're always looking to the future, what's going to happen next, we don't take time to necessarily get grounded in the past or in the present. And this can, in theory, cause some levels of anxiety to increase, right? And so one thing that I found to be really enjoyable is to do something nostalgic. And the easiest way to do this, I'll go through a few examples of things you can do, but the easiest way I have found is rewatching an old TV show or favorite movie, but TV shows even more. So I will admit that I recently, maybe 6 months or so ago, went through Prison Break and rewatched that show, and it's embarrassing to admit how much joy that brought to me, because it brought me back to a different time in my life when I first watched that show, and it's also somewhat a touching show, believe it or not. But I found it to be very stress relieving. It was very enjoyable. And it's not something though I would normally do. I've never been that person to rewatch movies or shows or anything like that. But I found it really to be calming and help relax me essentially in the moment. So think about that. If you're not someone who does that, give it a try. An old show that you love, just rewatching some of it. There's other things you can do here that can help though with that grounding aspect. So one of them is to do something physical, but easy and repetitive. So this could be like playing with a toy or doing a puzzle. Like you have a puzzle, you make it, and then you remake it the next month. Like you do these kind of repetitive things, or listening to a favorite song that you've had, since childhood, the same favorite song, or rereading an old book that you've loved. The reason for this is not to be exciting. As you might imagine, redoing a puzzle you've already done is not exciting. It's meant to be the exact opposite of that. We tend, especially as ENFPs, to look for the future. We want new things. We've finished a book. I'm not going to go through and find hidden meanings or secret stuff. I want to go to the next book and then the next book, right? And again, that's good, but it's not always the best for psychology. So I'm not suggesting you only redo puzzles or what shows you watch, but maybe once a week, once every couple weeks, especially if you feel yourself feeling quite anxious or stressed. If you pick that feeling up, just say, all right, I'm going to take an hour, sit down and rewatch a favorite TV episode or something like that, and just see how it affects you and try it out. That's all I can ask. So let me know in the comments below if you do try this out, what the effect is. Does it have a really positive impact on your day? Does it change how you're feeling? Do you end up Netflixing a whole show and wasting a weekend, as I might have done with Prison Break? Just let me know. Try that out. Also, if you have any other tips similar to this that you've figured out for yourself, share those in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel. Lots of tips and techniques and life advice for ENFPs and other awesome future-oriented people. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.